Cool. Welcome back to another episode of the Stripology podcast. I'm Wendy, and today I want to talk about something that I find is really helpful in the hustle. It's really helpful in deciding whether or not to persist, to really gauge like how your interaction is going with the customer. And it's a little mantra that I found really helps for me when, I'm just not sure, basically. And it helps encourage me to keep going, because if you've ever worked with me, as in like in the club, you know that I'm pretty persistent. And I do that because I know that that's something that really helps people to end up deciding to have a dance, right? So the little mantra that I love to say to myself is the most certain person wins. So when I have that in mind, the reason that I developed that mantra is because I created a whole range of hacks for myself, like little meter sticks to help navigate the conversations that I have with people. And so this is just one of those. And when I realized the most certain person wins, there's a small disclaimer there that I want to add in, provided you keep rapport. We don't want to persist to a point that we piss the person off and we break rapport, but we don't want to give up early and walk away when it would have just taken a tiny little bit more convincing or a little bit more of a nudge to just get the person over the line to realize that actually getting entertainment from this person is a really good idea. So we need to be really certain within ourselves in order to be able to persist, because persistence is a thing that I obviously bang on about, but we need to back ourselves when we're persisting. Otherwise it can come from a bit of an unbalanced place. So they all kind of bleed into one another. So gauging, the level of certainty between you and the customer is just a really interesting sort of extra thing to look at, so you know how to pivot your conversation and where to direct it next, and whether or not to persist, obviously, and whether or not to move on and try someone else and then try again later. So during our interaction, we can see the level of certainty. And sometimes, and have a little think, because this is so common, so common. Often the excuses that people have to not get a dance, they're a little bit wishy-washy. Like, oh, I just want to settle in. Oh, I just want to finish my drink. Oh, I'm not sure yet. I've just arrived and I want to, whatever it is. If you can see the level of certainty in that conversation, in that reasoning, you can see that it's not really steadfast. Like, it's not like, no way, not that we want to create that, but I'm just talking about monitoring the level of certainty, right? It's a little bit lukewarm. It's a little bit not here nor there. It's not like a fuck yes, and it's not a fuck no. So it's in that mid-range. And a lot of people, and I can say I've done this a million times myself, but a lot of us can get really like frustrated with that lukewarm response. Like, what does that even mean? Like, could you be any more annoying, or like whatever it is? Like it can definitely trigger some frustration when we get a lukewarm kind of wishy-washy response. That's not a lot of information to work with, and it's like, where do I go from there? So I know this comes up so often, so I'm actually really excited to record this episode, because I just want to share the ways that I look at this to see if it can help or if anyone can relate to this, right? So okay, we get a wishy-washy, lukewarm response. What do we do with that? Okay, so we can then reference that and look at the fact that, okay, their level of certainty is, say, here. And if you're just listening like on audio, I'm just putting my hand like midway. And so their level of certainty is like midway. And if our level of certainty is here, like sky high, like right up there, then statistically, the higher level of certainty is going to trump the midway level of certainty. Okay, and so knowing that, I just know that from a whole lot of experiences, a whole lot of dancing, and the data that's been stored in my brain, seeing the outcome. Now, nothing's ever like, 100% of the time, but there's definitely enough data there to say that the more certain person is going to trump the lukewarm, not really sure person. So I'm going to give an analogy here, and I've got a few different analogies, but one that I said recently in a one-on-one coaching session, I found was really sort of easy to picture, right? So I was talking about this situation, and say, for example, you're with a friend and you're going to go out on a dinner date, right? And you're trying to choose where you want to go. Now, say that you're like, you just had a snack before, you're not super hungry, and also picture that you know each other really well, right? Okay. So you're not really hungry and you're sort of like, yeah, I don't know, I could go for like maybe a pasta, or I don't know, maybe like a pizza or something. And then, as you can see, that's a bit wishy-washy, it's a bit midway. Say your friend is like really, really fucking hungry and they've got their heart set on Japanese, right? And on top of that, a new Japanese restaurant has opened and it looks amazing. So you can picture in this conversation, we're just looking at the level of certainty here, but in this conversation, someone's a bit lukewarm, not really sure, not too phased, but they're going to go and eat. They're there to go and eat something, but they don't really have a strong opinion about anything. And then the other person is like set on trying this new place. They've done the research, they've studied the menu, they've looked at all of the amazing things that are on the menu, they've looked at like photos of the restaurant, it looks beautiful, it looks like it's got really nice ambience, it's got comfortable seats, all of these things. And the conversation, as you can see, would play out most likely that the person with the strongest conviction of where they want to eat is going to win that because they're so certain. They're going to say to the friend, if they're like, oh, I don't know, I feel like maybe pasta or a pizza, I don't really know, to be honest, like I'm not sure yet. And they're just going to be like, look at this place, like I've found this restaurant, it's just opened, I've read the menu, it looks incredible, it looks so beautiful, like, and then knowing, because with our customers, we want to find out a bit about like what they want. And so in this analogy, like, your friend a bit, that they love fresh food, and you can say like, there's all these incredible looking salads on the menu. There's all this incredible like entrees and crispy, nice, really interesting looking stuff. I feel like you'd really like it. Like, I feel like the ambiance looks really good and we can just try it out. We can just try it out and see if you like it. I feel like it's going to be really good. And then, or whatever, but the certainty is going to trump it because the inspiration's there. You genuinely want not only to experience it for yourself, but you're suggesting it because you might say to your friend, like, I know you love Japanese, like we're just talking about the other day, like blah, blah, blah. Like you're saying all of the things. You're not convincing yourself because you're already convinced. You're looking at ways that they are going to be convinced and they are going to see in the value of going, and they are going to see that it is a really good idea. And so that's the level of certainty that we need to get to. We need to study all the things. We need to really know all of the value that is going to go across to whoever it is that's going to experience whatever it is with us, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And I feel like I've gotten this point across, but I really want to share with you an old piece of writing on this topic because it's something that, I've dived into so many rabbit holes. But it's something that, you know, I have in my academy content. It's just one tiny little meter stick, because for me, I need those meter sticks to help me navigate. How is this conversation going? You know, as someone that kind of actually struggles with interactions with people, it's taken me a huge amount of extra energy to really learn how to do it in a way that is a win-win scenario, which is all what we always want to strive for, because we want to create those amazing customers. So yeah, I've dived down this rabbit hole. This is an old piece of writing and I just want to share it. And so yeah, it's loosely on this topic, but here we go. So there is no winning line to sell VIP. Yes, there are some doozies, but it comes down to that organic banter, that knowing and that unbeatable certainty that comes when you know it's in their best interest to have a VIP experience. How do we convince ourselves to Teflon strength that without a doubt, you are a fantastic investment worth every dollar that they are about to spend? You need to believe it wholeheartedly, and it is a knowing. You don't need lines or strategies because they will just flow. You'll surprise yourself at just how good you are at selling because you are already sold. Here is a practical exercise that you can do right now that will make a difference. So grab a pen and paper and set aside 20 minutes. Might take longer, but 20 minutes is a great start. Okay, so what we're doing here is creating a resource for our brains to build evidence to support an idea we wish to adopt. We will naturally then search for more evidence of this, and our resource will naturally grow and our knowing will strengthen. I encourage you to add to your resource every time you have success and learn new situations that support your idea that VIP with you is a fantastic idea. In brackets, you can obviously do this with any topic. Okay, so write a list of 20, no less, as this will stretch your awareness and retrieve unconscious information that you are not always aware of. So 20 reasons why VIP is a fantastic option. Why VIP is worth the price. Why time with you is always worth it. Take the time. It is worth taking a moment for you. See the difference. I know sometimes VIP can be crummy and it's difficult to see the benefits. So build this resource so you can confidently believe in what you're selling so you can sell more effectively. It's an insider job. We are worth taking the time for ourselves always. Bonus points, write at least 3 times you've chosen the more expensive option for yourself in your own life. For example, flying first class, a luxury hotel. Convince yourself, believe in yourself, and always sell yourself first. So in that, yeah, seeing that sometimes people do want to spend extra for their VIP option, but they're not mind readers. They need to know what is the benefit. And when we're sold first, we more naturally just let them know all of that with more ease. So this is an activity that you can do in your own time. And we can always create resources for ourselves on any topic. That's what I do in the Industry Academy. It is all about the hacks and the different things that we can do to build those resources for ourselves. So when we come game time on the field or on the floor, we can navigate it with much more ease, much more confidence, and really sell what we want to sell, which is a win-win situation, our customers having a fantastic time and us being paid really well. So I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe and share this if you found this helpful. I'd love to hear from you as well if you have any feedback, and I'd also love to hear from you if you have any topics that you'd love me to speak on, because I'm just going to keep flowing with what comes to me. But if you really have something that you want to hear about, let me know, and have a great weekend.